The definitions by which we construct the world around us massively influence what we deem to be possible or not. So here's an idea, right? I was just driving along, actually I'll turn the camera around and show you, and I've just seen the cloudiest cloud that I've seen here in Texas for a really long time. So let me show you. I'm gonna spin it around, I'll zoom in. Okay, it's actually maybe too far away, but we'll try. We'll zoom in, there he is. All right, let me just get a nicer image of it. There you go. That is one of the cloudiest clouds I've seen here in Austin, right? So let me spin this around. So Christian, what has this got to do with anything? Okay. Millie asked when she saw that, she said, how heavy do you think that is? And my immediate response was like, okay, brain, physics, let's figure this out. Probably heavier than anything you could conceivably imagine. That cloud is probably heavier than. Which doesn't make a lot of sense. How is it floating? Okay, so physics aside, clouds weigh a ton. Like, what I mean a metaphorical ton. They weigh way more than tons. We're talking like billions of tons. They're so, maybe not billions, but ridiculous numbers of tons, right? They're so incredibly heavy. Just think how much water falls out of them. Weigh that, that's a lot. And then that got me thinking, what is heavy? Heavy is such an arbitrary construct that humans have made because it doesn't really mean what you think it does. Is it actually an absolute amount or not? Because you don't think of a cloud as heavy. You don't think of the air as heavy when they are two of the heaviest things on the earth. What we generally perceive as heavy, we actually mean dense. So if you imagine picking up a solid gold coin, you'd pick that up and the heft would be more than what you were expecting. So you'd hold that and go, oh, that's heavy. When it's not. A gold coin might weigh 50 grams, which isn't a lot of weight. An absolute amount, it's very, very little. You do not struggle to pick that up. And so I think below about 5 kilograms, about 10 pounds, heavy actually means dense in our human vocabulary. And beyond 5 kilos-ish, then we go to absolute measurement. So, and I think that's because we don't interact very often with big things. Like, you can't pick something up that's more than like a meter by a meter by a meter. So like, how absolutely heavy something is, we have a very narrow range. Like, most people cannot physically pick up more than 150 kilos. So if it's more than 5, but can be physically lifted up, you'd say it's heavy. It's a really interesting thought. So what's got me rambling on about all of this? If you're a business owner, if you want to achieve anything big in life, you can skip all my previous ramblings and come to this point. Okay. The way in which you make the world in your brain based on the definitions that you provide the context for reality can drastically change your outcomes. Think about it this way. I can't make £1 million a year. It's not something I've never done it before. I don't know anyone who's ever done it. I can't do it. It can't be done. But someone has done it. Many, many, many people have done it. And so you cannot do that today. But when you say can't, you mean I don't have the skills or I don't know how. So if you replace can't with I don't know how, you now have a question. How do I make £1 million a year? Now that's a question which has an answer, and it has many answers. How do I run a sub 4-minute mile, right? It can't be done. No, how can I do it? And then it got done, and then everyone else started doing it too. It's crazy how many feats in human history are impossible, can't be done, until they are, until someone dares to ask, what would it take? So you've got people flying, the Wright brothers making a plane, 4-minute mile, swimming across the channel, finding America. There's nothing over there. You're going to fall off the edge of the world. Landing on the bloody moon. Providing internet to the entire planet. Creating an electric car company. So many, these are just a short list of some of the ones off the top of my head that are, people said are impossible, it's stupid, you can't do that. But it can be, it's just not asking the right questions. So an example for you that's relevant. When Elon was starting SpaceX, he heard that there were some Russian rockets left over from some time. Don't know when, don't know that much about this story. But he went and spoke to them and said, hey, I'm starting a rocket company, I want to buy your rockets. How much are you going to sell them for? They just gave him a ridiculous price. So he was like, that's ridiculous. I know the cost of the materials. It should be cheaper than this. So no, I'm just going to go and make it myself. And then he did, right? And it's the same with battery technology. So this is my question to you and for me. At any point in your life, if there's something you can't do, change the question to, how can I do this? And that could be adding constraints to, how can I earn my full salary only working 3 hours a day? How can I earn my salary in one day? I don't want to necessarily work in the evenings. How can I work not in the evenings? And then applying constraints to the question will change the answer that you get. And it will sometimes make it more challenging. But there is a way, almost always there's a way. The real question is, are you willing to make the trade for that outcome? That's my thought for today. Have a great one.